Ms. Mahlali Matiba, my clerk here at the Constitutional Court, I would like you to do the honor of reading out the roll call of women who fought so hard and tirelessly for our freedom. There are too many names to mention, but we mention some. There are also the invisible women, whose names we will never know, but who fought and died for the cause of freedom and equality for women. Women who were rendered homeless by forced removals. We think of their struggles in the brutal weather conditions of the time, in the open velds of Dimbaza, Sada, Winterveld, Lime Hill, Mondlo, Ntanzani, Ilinga, Zwelicha, Botshabelo, Washbank, Gwangema, and Driefontein, to mention a few. Many women lost their husbands, their lovers, their children, and relatives in the struggle. Those women are strong as well. They are also our heroines. We honor all women today, and especially those that we've mentioned, and we will now take a moment of silence.
Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Lillian Ngoyi, Helen Joseph, Rahima Musa, Sophie De Bruyn, Dora Tamana, Bertha Gowa, Florence Matumela, Ruth First, Dorothy Sihlangu, Ray Alexander, Liz Abrahams, Dorothy Nyembe, Victoria Mngenge, Pila Ndwandwe, Nomkosi Mini, Colleen Williams, Fatima Mier, Florence Ribeiro, Emma Mashinini, Sister Bernard Ngube, Lydia Kompe, Dulcie September, Josephine Mashobane, Mildred Lesea, Helen Suzman, Zuleika Mayat, Albertina Sisulu, Ellen Kuzwayo, Adelaide Tambo, Charlotte Maxeke, Margaret Ngadi, Sheena Duncan, Judge Kathy Satchwell, Navi Pillay, Amina Kachalia, Cheryl Corollis, Pumzile Mlambo Nguka, Dr. Liz Floyd, Ilona Tip, Priscilla Jana.
I think back of a very famous woman philosopher, Maya Angelou. She is so beloved by many. What she said that we women should do is the following. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Our very own father of the nation, the late President Nelson Mandela, stated, "Freedom can never be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression." He also said, "Our endeavors must be about the liberation of all women, not some women." I speak to many women-in-law out there. We as women have clearly still not attained our freedom. There is still a great need to accelerate gender parity. We will do so because in us there is an unbreakable perseverance. We will never be free until every woman is free. Many of us have reached our professional pinnacle, but at the same time we must remain critical thinkers. We must not be quiet until the scourge of sexism and patriarchy is over. We also think about the scourge of sexual and gender-based violence in our country. Our souls cry out in pain for those who live and face the brutal violence day after day. Find it in your hearts to do something, my sisters. Remember, tiny ripples in the ocean become gigantic waves. We may think we are defeated at this time, but one day we will experience victory, and with it will come righteous pleasure. We are not defeated as women, but we can and must do better. Every woman has God-given power and moral courage. If we do not do everything to change things, all will remain the same. In calling the revered names of the women Mihlali read out, we must do better than calling them our heroines. We must revitalize our efforts. We must turn towards one another and work together. We may be contesting each other in the courtrooms of our beloved country, but when it comes to real transformative change, we must turn towards one another. Gender equality must mean substantive equality and systemic equality. It must not only be on paper and statistics. I have heard many young women legal practitioners arguing in court. What a privilege to hear them pit themselves against all the arguments that are leveled at them. I believe in the next generation of young women, even if they don't believe in themselves, or even if they feel the hill is too hard to climb, I believe in them. I've seen them in action. When history is written, let them know that as a woman in 2020, we never slowed down in seeking substantive equality for all women. Only days ago did America bury its son, John Robert Lewis, one of the world's greatest civil rights leaders. To the end of his days, he kept saying, we must keep moving. And I reiterate, we as women must keep moving. I would like to welcome all the participants in this celebration of Women's Day, produced and organized by WARSA. We as women judges are indebted to WARSA for the interest that they've taken to incorporate the judiciary in these celebrations. I would like to introduce to you our two women panelists, both who are judges in the Johannesburg High Court. Firstly, Her Ladyship Ms. Tina Suwendu. Justice Suwendu is in Durban today, so she will be joining us and in this panel. And secondly, I would like to introduce to you Judge Moloboheng Ndalana Maisela, who is also a judge at the High Court in Johannesburg. Right, now I'm going to ask a series of questions. I'm going to start with Judge Tina Suwendu. As we know in law, there's an order of seniority, and Judge Suwendu is one of our senior judges. Judge Suwendu, why did you choose to study law?
Interestingly, it didn't come as my first choice. My first choice was speech and drama and music. And I am a child of the mid-60s. And so by the time I went to university, the country, South Africa was a different country. And I was conscientized into various areas of not just inequalities, which still bedevil us today, but just the harshness of the system in which the country was organized, and how your fate in life was almost predetermined by law rather than all of the other values and qualities.
Now, can I ask you, Judge Ndalana Maisela, what made you choose to study law?
I chose to study law in order to serve my country by administering justice.
And then can I go on to ask you, can you mention some highlights of your time at the university as a law student?
I served the law students as a member of the Law Students' Council. I gave criminal procedure and civil procedure lessons to the law students on request by my lecturer, Advocate Sonny Paul. I helped the law students by tutoring them in preparation for examinations.
Now, Judge Suwendu, can I ask you, how did you experience growing up the factors that led you to become an attorney and later a judge?
Well, I feel that, I started my career as a lawyer now in 1992. I was a research fellow at CALS, Center for Legal Studies. And it feels like from day one, I was ushered into this area of human rights law, labor law. And towards the end of my articles of clerkship, various trade unions were looking at participating more directly in the economy. And I must say it was for noble reasons, to endow, trade unions with their own investment houses.
Judge Mdalana Mayisela, can I ask you the same question? How did your experience growing up impact your life as an advocate and as a judge?
It was not easy growing up during the time of apartheid. My father worked in Rustenburg. My mother, my siblings, and I lived in Transkei. My mother and I visited my father in Rustenburg during school holidays. My mother was regarded as an illegal foreigner by the Bophuthatswana police. She was assaulted in my presence and arrested for being an illegal foreigner. That was a traumatic experience for me. And that motivated me to become a lawyer in order to administer justice and to ensure that people in this country are not subjected to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment by the organs of the state or other citizens.
Can I ask you, Judge Suwendu, what was the most memorable part of becoming a judge?
Gosh, and it happened at one of these most difficult moments, because by then I was a director in a commercial law firm at Clifdeck Hofmeyer, and things were not going very well for me. Despite all of my years of experience, the environment was not just tough, it was hostile, it was not welcoming, it was not supportive. And so I found myself so alone and so isolated. And it still doesn't make sense to me that I would have had all of those years of deep experience and then be placed in this very, I don't know how to describe the situation. I think that the overculture of driving for a fee target, driving for competitiveness, driving for profit, whilst it has its place, the values were just my own values around what law was about and how it should be practiced. There was clearly a painful clash in core values about the law. So when I got asked to come and act, I accepted the opportunity and I didn't know how I'm going to feel about it, because I think that inside of me, even though I knew that at the heart of it, I might not look like it, but I'm an intelligent and a good lawyer,
Yeah.
I did like a little bit of confidence about what I can do.
Judge Mdalana Mayisela, what lessons did you learn from practice that were most helpful to you as a judge? Because I know you were in practice as an advocate for many years.
From practice, I learned the following lessons. 1, professionalism. I respect my professional activities. 2, objectivity. I learned this principle when I was doing my pupillage with Johannesburg Bar. I applied this principle throughout my career as a lawyer. I am not influenced by my personal feelings or opinions in the adjudication of the cases. The third one is impartiality. In practice, I have performed my duties as a prosecuting counsel, a defense counsel, a plaintiff or applicant's counsel, a defendant or respondent's counsel. And as such, it's easier for me not to take sides in the adjudication of the cases. Fourthly, I've also learned to be fearless and independent. The positions I occupied in the National Prosecuting Authority as a Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions and the Regional Head, Directorate of Special Operations, have equipped me to be fearless and independent in administering justice.
What was the most memorable part of becoming a judge?
I have been a judge for 7 months now.
Only 7 months?
Yes, that's correct. And as such,
Well done.
I'm still new in the profession. However, becoming a judge has given me a fulfillment in terms of my professional growth. Personally, becoming a judge has made me understand that I occupy a powerful position in the society because I decide on people's fate. And as such, every word I write in my judgment must have been carefully thought because it has got a potential to build or to destroy the person.
Judge Mdelana Mayisela, what do you think are the essential qualities of a judge? And that doesn't only mean a woman judge, but a judge.
In my view, the judge must be independent, impartial, transparent, fair, brave, a good listener, must have humility, the spirit of Ubuntu, and must be able to make sensible decisions.
Right. I want to say thank you to both my panelists. Both of you have still got a long way to go on the bench, and I'm looking forward to looking at your career on the bench, both of you, as you traverse very difficult issues of law, not only commercial law, but in the law of persons, and in particular on women's issues and children's issues. Thank you both, my sisters, and I wish you well.